Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So the last few videos, actually the last decent amount of videos last month, we have been working diligently on the garage, getting it completely renovated and getting it looking the way that it does right now. I spent a lot of time and effort getting this place exactly the way that I wanted it. Now I still have a few more things to do, still waiting on a couple things to come in, but once they come in, we'll get back on the garage videos. But in the meantime, I wanted to update you guys on the M3. A lot of you have been asking for M3 videos, and I promise you we are going to go back full swing into this thing very, very soon. The way that my mind works is when I'm focused on something like the garage, I'm 100% full steam ahead on that project. I don't like to kind of dive around to 15 different things. I like to focus on one thing, get that resolved, and then move on to the next. It's just the way that I work. And, as you guys can see, we really got a lot done in the garage and it's looking beautiful. And since it's been a while since we really talked about the M3, you guys even seen the M3 really, I finally washed it after about 2 or 3 months. I haven't washed it since like December. It's been a really long time, mainly because the garage has been in shambles, but I finally had the time the other night to get it done. So it's under the car cover. We have a lot of rain this past week. It's been on the trickle charger, so it's just kind of hanging out here until the nicer weather comes around. So it's a good feeling having this clean finally. I feel like all is right in the world now. So now I just actually gotta get my wife's car clean and the truck clean. These two cars haven't been washed in quite some time. But what I wanted to do in this video is give you a full update of what I have currently for the M3 and what I actually have planned. Like I said, we have a lot going on with the car. Now that the warmer driving weather is right around the corner, I cannot wait to start driving this thing and enjoying it. I bought this M3 back in June of 2023, completely stock, and all last summer I basically was just modifying it to get it the way that I wanted it. I've just been so busy getting it kind of up to my spec that I did enjoy it, but this is my first real spring summer with the car of how it currently is, and I can really start to enjoy it. So I'm really looking forward to it. But there is quite a few more things that we have pending, and I wanted to go over them with you. Now, I do have a few more things that I'm going to talk about that are not on this table right here, but I want to kind of go down the line, let you guys know exactly what to expect in the next coming weeks and next couple videos at least, and kind of go over everything, what they are, what they're going to do for the car, and the future plans for it. So let's start right here. This is the Turner Motorsports rear shifter bushing. I have a manual F80 M3. I came from a 2017 STI prior to this. I absolutely love the STI transmission. It is a fantastic manual transmission, tried and true. The thing is absolutely bulletproof, super notchy, one of the best manual transmissions on the market, on the road, possibly ever. I think it's a fantastic feeling transmission. If you haven't ever driven an STI manual transmission, highly recommend it. You'll definitely know what I'm talking about. But a couple things that I did to the STI transmission or the shifter was do a short shift kit and bushing. So I also did a few other things, but those were the main ones that really took the overall shifting feel to the next level. So coming to the F80 manual transmission, I was a little weary on how this one was going to feel. Previous generation M cars, the manual transmission, I was never a fan of. It felt very sloppy. It felt like a wet noodle. It just felt like a video game almost. So coming into this one, I was a little skeptical, but right away, I realized how much better this one is comparing to the old generations. This actually feels, I don't want to say on par with the STI, but very close. It feels very notchy. It's very direct. I really do like it. And that's not me just justifying it. It was literally my first exact thoughts about it. I was like, wow, this is better than I was expecting. Although there is some room for improvement, and that is where this comes into play. The shifter bushing on the manual transmission is rubber. There's a lot of play. It leaves a lot of slop. And what this is actually going to do is stiffen things up, make it feel a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more notchy, exactly the way that I like it. And I'm really looking forward to getting this on. I've actually had this for, I want to say like 5 months now. It's just been chilling in the cabinet for a long time. The main reason why I haven't installed it yet is because of a couple things. One, it's not the hardest install, but it's a little bit involved just because you got to get under the car. You got to remove quite a few things to get to where it is. Also, I hate jacking up cars and going under them. I don't know. As I get older, it's not my favorite thing. But now that we have the quick jacks, I feel much safer. I have much more room to work. I feel much more comfortable under there. So now that I have those, we can get this knocked out. So I'm looking forward to doing this. I'm going to be doing a comparison between stock and this. Obviously the install, letting you guys know exactly what it feels like and everything. So really looking forward to getting this in. It's a pretty simple install once you get to it. So yeah, there'll be a video on this and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Next up on the workbench here, we got the AK Motion vent display. This thing is awesome. Now, I was actually between this one and the P3 gauge. However, this one does way more than the P3. The P3 just monitors a few things through the OBD2 port. This one can actually monitor and display a ton more things. This is actually a programmer as well. You can actually program the pops and bangs just like you would do in boot mod through the app and everything. You can do that through this. You can monitor so many things through this. You can do a lot of customization as well. So I'm really excited to get that installed. Alex from AK Motion, the owner of this company, actually sent this over to me a couple months ago, and I've been meaning to install it. I've just been so busy with the garage, and I'm really looking forward to kind of showing you the install and just how awesome this thing is. It is legit, and I can't wait to get it installed. This is going to be very helpful once we get down there, and I'll explain what's going on with that. But this vent gauge, I'm super excited to get it installed. It's a little bit more involved in terms of how to install it because you actually got to tap into, I believe, the CAN bus. It's not just the OBD2. You're actually kind of messing with the wires and stuff like that. But you get all the modules and the wires and everything needed. So it's a cool little package, and this thing is going to be pretty darn sweet. Next up on the docket on the workbench, we got some carbon fiber. The carbon fiber here is actually both from Horizon Motorsports. I have a few items from them. I have the carbon side skirts as well as the rear diffuser. These two items are the carbon fangs. So it actually goes right here. Let me pull up the car cover right here. The little fangs right here. So I do have the Auto Technic carbon fiber front lip, the OEM M Performance splitters here. And then right here, it's just the body color. But what these actually do, let me see if I can just kind of throw them on for you guys real quick. So just give you a little bit of idea of how these things look and where they go. They go on right here. So it's gonna match beautifully with all the carbon down there. And one of the great things I love about mineral gray metallic is that the carbon doesn't stand out a ton. It's not like it's in your face like if you had a white or lighter color car. The mineral gray kind of blends in with the carbon. So it's just enough where you can see the detail, but it's not in your face and it kind of looks like it's too much. So I think it's gonna be a very nice touch. Gonna blend in nicely with everything else that I got going on up here. And I'm looking forward to getting these installed. The next thing that you see right here are actually the carbon fiber eyebrows. So I'm a little back and forth on this. So if you see on the headlight, you can see the silver and chrome kind of detail up here. My kind of future plans for this is to actually go to my buddy Lightworks, Caesar, who owns the company, get these headlights cracked open and actually paint all of this chrome. So all the silver up here, this little piece down there, the little piece in there, obviously not the headlight part, the LEDs, but the little details and stuff. Open them up, get everything painted a really nice black, and just have a very nice OEM looking headlight without anything stuck on. The headlights are PPF'd as well, which is really nice, so they're staying in really nice condition. But in the meantime, I just can't stand the silver on the car, on the headlight. It just stands out too much. It's kind of out of place. So what these things actually do, it's nothing crazy, but they actually go right on top of the headlight like this. Obviously I just kind of threw them on, but it takes away the silver. It gives a nice little touch. It's going to blend in with everything else here. And I think it's going to be kind of cool. It's a very reversible. It's just something honestly that's just stuck right on there. So it's not permanent, but I thought it was cool. I figured I'd pick them up since I did get the fangs up there, and I thought it'd be a nice kind of touch up front to kind of blend everything together. And it gets rid of the silver for the most part. It's still on the side and everything, but it kind of blends in nicely, gives it a cool little look. So I'm going to be installing both the fangs as well as the eyebrows in one video, just kind of show you the install. They're just stuck on with some double-sided tape. It's nothing fancy, nothing crazy. It's not permanent, as I mentioned. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It's going to blend in nicely with all the other carbon I got going on and add a nice little touch. All right, so now that we're up in the engine bay and I kind of removed some of the cover, I wanted to mention one thing that I do have inbound. It is coming. I actually have a charge cooler cover. I do plan on actually changing out the charge cooler, especially what we're going to talk about over here. But for now, I just wanted to get rid of this silver grossness. So I actually have a really nice cover that goes over the center part right here that gives a little detail to this, makes it look much nicer. It's actually from One Vision Performance. Really nice. I was thinking about going with a carbon one, but I think it honestly would be too much carbon. So it's just a nice black aluminum with some nice detail in it. It has the M colors. It says M3 competition on it. So that is inbound. I'm going to install that. It just kind of sticks on there. It's nothing crazy, just like the carbon I was just talking about. So it's going to add a nice little kind of detail to the really, really nice engine bay. Again, I do plan on changing out the charge cooler to either a Mishimoto or going with the full-on Wagner. Kind of leaning towards the Wagner. I think it's the best option to go with these cars, to be completely honest. I was looking at CSF, but there's quite a few reasons why I'm not going with that one. I can go over in a different video about why, but I think the Wagner is the best route to go. They come in black, so it's going to blend in really nicely, but that is definitely something that I'm looking to do once I get a lot of this other stuff done. Charge cooler is definitely on my list of things to do. So obviously I'll update you guys on that. We'll be doing a whole video of the install and everything about it once I decide on one and once I get one in. All right, so now that we got this stuff out of the way, let's start getting into the fun stuff. If you guys saw any of the videos talking about my exhaust on the M3, you guys know that I briefly touched on the topic of downpipes. I said that I was 100% going to do catted downpipes. That was the route I was going to go. But the more I thought about it, the more I looked into it, the more I realized if I want this car to sound proper in the way that I want it to sound, catless is the way to go. The catted downpipes, obviously, you know, in terms of horsepower gains, it's very, very minimal. The cats that they use in the high quality downpipes, there's really very, very minimal gains between the two. So it's not about power or anything. For me, it's more about the sound. I ran catless headers on my E46 M3. Absolutely loved how much the headers did for the car in terms of the sound and the performance. It was incredible. I loved it. Obviously, yes, there's some cons to it with the smell and everything, but this is not my daily. I don't need to be worrying about the smell that much. You know, if it was my daily, I would 100% go the catted route, but I really want this car to sound fantastic. But the only way to get the S55 to sound the way that I personally think sounds incredible, obviously minus going to a single turbo setup, is to go with catless resonated downpipes. So being that I have a muffler delete and a resonated midpipe, going with the resonated catless downpipes is really, really going to make this thing scream. It's going to keep the overall tone that I have currently, which I absolutely love. It's very, very deep, very aggressive, but it's going to enhance the volume, which is exactly what I'm looking for, and that is exactly what these are going to do. So I know the next question. How come you're not going with Ink Customs downpipes? Let me go over that real quick and explain. So as you can see, these are from R Motorsports. You guys have probably heard of the brand. They actually reached out to me and were like, hey, we love what you're doing with your F80. We would love to link up and kind of get something worked out. And they were gracious enough to send these on over to me to install, to make some videos and let you guys know what I think. And to be honest, they came and I'm really happy with the overall quality. It looks great. And honestly, I don't see them being an issue. But my main goal in the future is to eventually get some inked, resonated, catless downpipes. So exactly this kind of same setup in terms of how it's set up, but I want to go with a full inked custom setup eventually. But I wanted to try these out. Not only were they kind enough to send these over to me, but it's a test. It's going to be a test to see if it's a sound that I'm looking for, because there's a lot of variables that come into play with exhaust, as you guys know. Going catless on these cars can make or break the sound. The thing is, with these resonated downpipes, I know it's gonna sound good. It's a catless downpipe. It's gonna sound incredible with my exhaust. There's no question about it. But since they were kind enough to send these on over to me, I was like, you know what? Let me install these. Let me try them out. Let me see how this thing sounds with them. If it's honestly exactly what I'm looking for, then I will invest the extra money, the extra cash that it costs to get some proper, you know, custom handmade Ink Customs downpipes. I'm not going to say, oh, hey, this is exactly what I wanted and whatnot. They were very gracious enough to send these over. So it's just a test. I'm going to try them out. I'm going to run them for a little while, see what I think. Obviously make some videos on it for you guys, let you know what it sounds like, what I think, you know, is it exactly what I'm looking for, that kind of stuff. And this is a very, very reasonable option in terms of price. If you guys are looking to go with catless resonated downpipes, they also sell catted downpipes as well. So you do have that option. So we will see. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's really going to make this S55 sound incredible. And it's really going to take it to the next level. So we will see. Got to get them installed. do a whole bunch of videos on it, let you guys know what I think, and then we'll go from there. All right, so now that we went over the downpipes, let's go over the beaten with a dead horse topic, the Crankhub. So first, let me go ahead, explain what the Crankhub issue is if you do not know, and then we'll go into what this is, and then what I ultimately decided. So if you're not familiar with the S55, the Crankhub is the Achilles heel to this motor. The Crankhub is part of your timing components. They say that the bolts can back out and loosen a little bit. The actual Crankhub can slip and cause your motor to go out of timing. It could potentially cause some catastrophic failure to a $20,000 plus motor, or it can just go out of timing and you get it retimed and you're good to go if there's no, obviously issues. But thankfully, the S55 community, the M community, aftermarket car companies have come out with some really, really solid solutions to completely bulletproof this entire thing. Now, just remember, the S55 is a fantastic motor. The only issue is the Crankhub. I'll go over into a little bit as to why I think it's an issue and how, but you got to think, pretty much every single M car motor has that Achilles heel. The S65, which is the E90X, has rod bearing issues, throttle actuator issues. The S54, which is in the E46 M3, that has a catastrophic vanos issue. The little tabs on the vanos can actually break off and literally go straight into your motor and completely blow it up. Terrible. So no matter what, there's always that Achilles heel. Something can happen, but thankfully, as I mentioned, aftermarket companies have come out with some really nice solutions for all of those different cars to be able to completely bulletproof your motor and allow you to enjoy it to its fullest. So when I decided to do the downpipes here, I was like, you know what? I really, really would like to address the Crankhub issue, get that resolved so I can sleep better at night. So I was originally thinking, okay, let me just pick up this. This is actually the Vargas Tuning crank bolt capture plate. What this actually is, it's literally an aluminum plate that gets bolted straight to the actual crank hub, holds it into place, and it supposedly prevents it from backing out over time. However, I posted this up on my Instagram and people were outraged. They were like, I can't believe that's the only thing that you're doing. How come you're not doing the full replacement? What is going on? You should do the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. I was getting spiels from everyone and everything. And believe me, I'm very, very well known and knowledgeable on the S55 and the Crankhub issue. It is not new to me. I know everything about it. So it's not like this was a surprise. So I was going to do an entire video talking about the Crankhub, going over, is it an issue? Is it not an issue? Should you do it? Shouldn't you do it? What are the options to remedy it? All that stuff. But to be completely honest, I don't even want to venture into it because there's so many opinions, so many thoughts on is it an issue or is it not? There's just so many different kind of variables out there that it's hard to really pinpoint and say, hey, this is the right route to go. So when it comes down to it, the issue for the Crankhub, in my opinion, has a lot to do with a couple things. First thing, the maintenance, how well the car was taken care of. Do you do the preventative maintenance? Do you do it early, on time, that kind of stuff? If it's not taken care of, if you beat on it when the car is cold, you may have some issues in the future. Modifications. If you're throwing 700 horsepower at this motor without the Crankhub done, you're going to run into some issues. There's no question about that. And the last thing I believe that can cause the issue is the modifications that you choose. If you're buying stuff in an alleyway that's homemade and just, not that great, you obviously can run into some issues with that. It's the same thing that I was preaching with my STI with the EJ25. It really comes down to the maintenance, the modification, and how well you do it with the brands. If you do it the right way, do all the supporting mods and do it properly and take care of the car, it's going to treat you well. I was running 413 horsepower on an EJ25, stock internals, stock pistons, stock rods. It's never been opened. I never had an issue. The new owner is still driving that car. He actually drives it harder than me, and it's still absolutely kicking butt. It was a huge thing that I always preach with the STI. Do the maintenance, do the proper supporting mods with everything, and do high quality brands. It's as simple as that. If you do that, it's going to take care of you. Obviously, there's some instances where, a stock motor or something catastrophic can happen. It happens with every single car, so don't think it's just the S55. There's no question about it. There are some stock F80 M3s that have, spun the Crankhub. But again, that comes into play here. Did you buy it secondhand? Who knows the previous owners, what they did to the car? That kind of stuff. There's so many factors that come into play here that really boils down to, the Crankhub. Is it really an issue? That kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I do what I preach, and I'm going to do all the reliability modifications that I possibly can so I can enjoy this car to the fullest. So with that said, I'm doing exactly what I'm preaching. Instead of doing the crank bolt capture plate, I am going all out and I'm doing it right. I'm actually doing a full crank hub replacement with the Gintani single piece crank hub. So this is actually the end all be all. This is the top of the line, the best one that you can possibly do. Yes, it's the most expensive, but there's a reason for it. So instead of just doing the crank bolt capture and saying, I hope it works, I'm doing the full replacement, getting it done. It is a little on the pricey side to get this done. I will go over the cost of everything once I get it done. We'll kind of walk you through it and everything. But I do believe it's worth it for, you know, what I would like to do with the car with the downpipes and eventually going to the tune and all that stuff. I want to make sure I'm doing it right. And obviously I'm making these videos and kind of showing you guys what I think a perfect F80 is. And the only way to do that is to do exactly what I'm preaching. Do quality mods, do it right, do all the supporting mods, take care of it, and it's going to take care of you. So with that said, we're actually headed up to a very, very, very well-known and reputable BMW specialist. If you guys have ever heard of ACM, Auto Couture Motoring, they're up in North Jersey. I'm getting all of the work done by them. They are extremely knowledgeable. They have done hundreds and hundreds of these fixes for the Crankhub. They're very, very well known in it. They do a fantastic job. They are kind of the upper echelon of BMW kind of shops. They really know what they're doing. And I really wanted to make sure I was going to a BMW specialist when it comes to something like this, because it's a very, very involved and very intricate, I don't know, I want to say surgery in a way. It's something that you don't want to mess with. You don't want to go with a hole in the wall shop. You want to make sure you go with somebody very reputable. So I'm going with Auto Couture Motoring. They're going to be doing a full Gintani single crank hub replacement, single piece crank hub replacements. I'm also getting a few things done by them as well. So while I'm there, they're actually going to install the downpipes for me as well. You know, since I'm paying a bunch for the labor to get the crank hub installed, the little bit of labor that it costs to get these done at the same time wasn't much. And I was like, you know what? You're there. You guys will do it correctly. And I want to get these things on immediately after the crank hub is done. So they're going to throw them on for me as well. Also, a couple other things they're going to be doing. Obviously, an oil change, because that needs to be drained when you're doing the crank hub. So I'm going to get a fresh oil change, which is actually going to be the first one since I've had I took ownership of this car. It was done right before I did pick it up, but I've put about 2,000 miles on the car, so it's not that much, but going to be getting a fresh oil change. Super excited about that. But also, we're going to be doing the spark plugs. So we're actually going with one-step colder spark plugs as well, since the car will be pushing a bit more power and obviously will be tuned as well. So it's at 20,000 miles right now. So it's actually kind of said to do these spark plugs around 20, 30,000 miles. So again, it's just kind of practicing what I preach here. I'm doing everything early, preventative, and making sure I'm doing it right. So we're getting the full Gintani one-piece crank hub done. We're getting the downpipes installed, oil change, as well as the one-step colder spark plug. So that is actually getting done from today in 2 weeks, actually a little less than 2 weeks. So super excited about that. Going to be tons of videos on that, going over the costs, going over obviously the downpipes and all the other mods and just how the car feels and all that. And I'm super excited to get that done. It is going to take this car to another level. It's going to make me sleep at night. You know, now that I'm going to have that done, honestly, the possibilities are endless with this car in terms of power. And honestly, I wasn't expecting or thinking I was going to do this so soon. I haven't had this car for a year and we're already at an amazing level with this car. And now that we're doing the crank hub and getting it bulletproofed, I'm so thrilled where this is going, and super excited to get that knocked out. So I know a lot of you are going to be asking, okay, you're going to be doing downpipes and all that stuff. You know, what are you going to do for the tune? I will be doing the boot mod, stage 2 tune, most likely 93. I'm not going to go to E yet. I don't know if I'm going to go that route. I might, just because of, you know, the crank hub. I can literally throw pretty much anything at this motor and have insane amounts of power for not that much money. It's pretty crazy. But for now, going to do stage 2, 93. I'm going to love it, enjoy it. Stage 2, I'm looking at around 550-ish. Depends, obviously, on a lot of factors and stuff like that. But, 530, 550 with downpipes and a tune. Pretty nuts. You know, I'm thinking back to my STI days. To do, 500 plus, we're looking at 20 to 30 grand. You know, I'm looking at $1,000. These things are like $500. And the boot mod is around, I think, $499 or something like that. So I don't know, $1,100 to get that knocked out. Pretty insane. Obviously, the crank hub is quite a bit more expensive, but way, 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 way less. Crazy bang for your buck. And this is kind of the first car that I've really experienced the bang for your buck. So I'm really excited to get this kind of all knocked out, get all this stuff on. And this is going to be a hell of a car. I cannot wait. People are already telling me to go to E. it's pretty funny. People are just, you know, going straight for kill mode right here, but I'm not going to go there yet. It's obviously something to look forward to. This car currently in its stock form scares the crap out of me in terms of the power and everything. It's a lot of fun, but it can very, very easily get away from you if you're not careful. So throwing, you know, another 100 to 120 horsepower at this car just from the downpipes and the tune is pretty wild. So I'm going to get used to that first before we go, you know, full on go to E if we do that. But yeah, that is what I have planned for the next couple of weeks. So a lot of things are getting done. This car is going to completely change in terms of the overall feel and how fast it is and everything. So I'm really looking forward to this. Like I said, I was so focused on the garage that I really wasn't putting my attention into the M3. I knew I had all this planned, but I didn't want to dive into it until I was ready. And that is because, like I mentioned earlier in this video, when I focus on something, I'm 100% hyper focused on that project. I don't like jumping around. I feel, you know, I get anxious and I'm like, oh, I got to do this, and it's just too much for me. So I wanted to get the garage 98% done. I'm still waiting on the countertops and a couple other things, but for the most part, it's done. It's functional. I can use it. I can work in here. I can wash cars and stuff. So it's at the point where I feel like, okay, let's step away from the garage a little bit and let's get back on the car. And now that we have so much stuff kind of lined up and ready to go for this thing, I'm ready to get into it. I'm ready to enjoy it. And I'm ready to share that entire journey with you guys and just show you how insane this car is going to be in the next couple weeks. So one more thing before we go, two more things. One of which, I'm actually dropping my car off at Auto Couture, and it's going to be there for 2 or 3 days getting everything done. But in the meantime, I actually mentioned that my buddy was going to lend me his G80, his manual G80 for the week. And it ended up being perfect timing while my car is at ACM, that I'm actually dropping this car off and then driving home in his G80 and having that for the week. So I'm going to be able to drive that, get my feedback on it, make some videos for you guys, let you guys know what I think about it. Obviously comparing to the competition with the automatic transmission, you know, is the manual, does it feel better? Do I like it better? Which one do I prefer kind of stuff? It's actually in Isle Man green, which is really cool. So we're going to have that in the garage for the week. Going to do a whole bunch of videos on that and enjoy it. So really, really cool. Not only am I dropping off my M3, I'm literally driving home in a G80 M3 that same exact day. And I get to drive that back all the way up to ACM and pick up my car. So it's just going to be a bunch of M3 experience with this whole thing too. So it's pretty amazing. So very, very thankful for the cool friends that I do have that are very trustworthy and that can appreciate my mindset and who I am as a person, and they're lending me their insanely expensive cars for an extended period of time just to you know, enjoy, get my thoughts, make some videos for you guys. And the last thing I want to mention in this video, I know it's a little lengthy and kind of wordy, but I wanted to explain everything, but I just wanted to take some time out and say thank you. I know I say this often and I'm always very appreciative of this entire thing, but this whole garage build and just the entire, you know, channel and everything that has happened in the last, I would say couple months or so has been incredible. The growth and the overall community that we're building here has been amazing. I'm very, very, very proud of what we're building here, and it has been an absolute blast. And I will be lying if I said that this entire channel isn't supporting and helping me do the things that we do here. It doesn't go unnoticed. I'm super grateful for it. I look forward to doing all this stuff. It's my escape, honestly. It's my therapy. So being able to do this, make the videos for you guys, and just kind of show my journey on all of this stuff, it's literally a dream come true. I know I'm not some massive channel, you know, pulling in hundreds of thousands of views and all that stuff, but that is not what this channel is about. I'm just purely enjoying my ownership and sharing that with you guys. And it's just incredible to see the support that I've been getting over the last few months, actually, you know, the last few years, to be completely honest. But most recently, just seeing the growth of the channel and how supportive you guys are of the garage build and obviously the M3 and all that. It's always kind of a little scary changing cars, especially with the STI. A lot of you were just so in love with that car, as was I. So moving on from that car and jumping into something completely different in a way was a little scary, because obviously you don't know how that's going to go, but the support and everything and the love that I've been getting for the car and just the videos has been overwhelming, and it doesn't go unnoticed. I sincerely do appreciate everybody that watches, everybody that subscribes, everybody that comments, people that reach out telling me their stories and everything. It's inspiring, it's motivational, and honestly, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the channel and if it wasn't for you guys. So I sincerely do appreciate all of the support over the years, and especially the most recent couple months of everything. It's been incredible. I love it. We have so much coming for the M3. It's so awesome to see kind of all this stuff lined up on the table here, and what's to come. I'm incredibly excited to take this car to the next level, share that with you guys, and now that we have this amazing garage, be able to kind of make some more videos for you guys in here and just share the journey. So once again, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it, but that's going to do it for this one. If you guys have any questions at all, be sure to ask them below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.